Cancer. It's a truly horrible disease. It can rob people of their family, of their dignity, and of course, their life. According to the most recent statistics from Cancer Research UK, in 2015 there were almost 360,000 new cases of cancer, and in 2016 the amount of deaths of cancer was over 160,000. That's a lot. On average, per day, there are almost 1,000 new cases of cancer that are diagnosed per day. That is a lot. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, on this very day in 2018, sadly, I lost my father-in-law to cancer. He had pancreatic cancer, which is not one of the most common cancers. And to make it even worse, about a week or so later, my wife was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Thankfully, she's still here, but today, in her dad's honour, I'm doing a charity drive to raise money for St Christopher's Hospice, the hospice that looked after Trevor in his last few days. So, as you can see, I'm joined by an Abarth 595, and you may think, well, what has that got to do with today's video? Well, I'm driving 595 miles from here, Elgin, Scotland, to the hospice in South East London. That is going to be a very long drive, but you know what? It's going to be worth it because I really want to do something to honour my late father-in-law. He was a big supporter of car obsession, and of course he supported Patsy and I throughout his life. So this is my way of giving something back, and also giving something back to the wonderful people at St Christopher's Hospice who did a fantastic job of looking after him in his last few days. So it's going to be a long day, so let's get to it. Right, so as you can see, I'm joined by Patsy.
Hello!
Morning. Right, so let's hit the road.
I haven't woken up yet, I'm sorry, and I'm hangry.
Yeah, and you're very divvy this morning, I have to say. You're very kind of faffing about. I'm raring to go, and you're, well, faffing about. Right. Oh yeah, that's good. So, away we go.
Are we home yet?
Don't you start.
Okay.
So, some of you may be thinking, oh God, that's not
What, some of them are thinking,
start.
oh!
So, some of you may be thinking or asking why an Abarth 595. Well, so that's just my spine realigning.
Oh, I haven't got my t-shirt on show.
I know, you're letting the side down. Oh God, I need to reset the trip computer. There we go, reset the trip computer. So yes, now reading 0 miles, 595 to go. Safe to say, that's quite a distance. The drive would take us through the breathtaking rolling hills of the Scottish Highlands, many motorway miles and central London, on what was to be a long but exciting adventure. Patsy and I weren't alone though. Good friend of the channel, Pocket Rockets, came along for support with his fiancée Becca. They joined us in the very nice BMW 3 Series estate, but no way could it be more comfortable than the 595. Oh. Okay, points proven.
Did you book me a massage and
Not
chiropractor?
chiropodist.
What are you planning on doing to my feet? You mean chiropractor?
Chiropractor, yes. Okay, maybe I'm still half asleep as well. So yeah, why an Abarth 595? Well, I got speaking to Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, and I was talking about what car I wanted to review next, and they suggested an Abarth 595. And I thought, yeah, why not? However, I wanted to do something a little bit more interesting with the car, as opposed to just a bog standard review. So at first, I thought about a road trip, because I thought, well, that could be quite a good idea, because the Abarth isn't really designed for long distances, and it hasn't got a lot of space, therefore you can't really fit a lot of luggage into it. So I thought actually it could be quite, a good test to see whether or not it would make a good road test car. And then I thought about, well, it's called an Abarth 595, so how about driving 595 miles in it, because it makes sense. And then I kind of had an epiphany. I thought, well, hang on, why not, do something good with the car? I'm not saying a road trip wouldn't be good, but what I mean is, could I raise a bit of money for charity? So that's when it all kind of fell into place. 595 and a 595. So I thought, you know what? Let me do it as a charity drive. Let me try and raise a bit of money for the wonderful people at St. Christopher's Hospice that did a fantastic job of looking after Patsy's father. So yes, we wanted to help raise a bit of money, really. So guys, if you do want to donate, the link for my Just Giving page is in the video description below. So please spare whatever you can for a simply great cause. Please do.
Even if it's just £5.95.
Yesterday I drove the car from South London to Scotland. So I've
Scotland.
Scotland.
See, I can't do accents.
Here.
Oh, come
Here,
on.
bonny lass. We're in Scotland.
You scared me. How would you say water?
Water.
Oh.
I can't do it for much longer because that's actually making my throat dry.
Do you want some water?
I would like some water. Yeah. After impressing Patsy with my simply fantastic Scottish accent, we had a bit of a problem with the sat-nav, despite only being on the road for a few miles. Oh, we have an incoming call from Becca. Hello.
Becca, you're now live. Please do not swear.
Where are you going? Because our sat-nav keeps telling us to go a completely different way.
Oh, it's telling us to go straight.
Oh, okay. I was trying to make sure you got the right place because mine just keeps literally everywhere you've gone is the wrong way apparently on mine. But
No, it keeps telling me to go straight. Famous last words.
hello.
Pull over here just quickly. Our Waze has taken our stop away, so we might need to follow you because our Waze has removed our stop.
Yeah, I thought so. Because we're going. It's only like 20 minutes onto our journey this way.
Yeah, I've just double checked, and yeah, it's just taken our stop away, so I might need to follow you. After that calamity, I had to allow Becca and Chris to take the lead, allowing me to relax and talk about the 595 in greater detail. So let me talk you through the car itself. So as some of you may have spotted, this is not an Abarth 595, it is in fact an Abarth 595C. Yes, that's right, this is the convertible, so I've got a fabric soft top above my head, well above our heads, which is a pity because it's very cold. We haven't really got the chance to make use of it. So this is the Turismo model, meaning it's kind of a mid-range in Abarth's 595 range. So it isn't the fastest, but it's not the slowest. Underneath the bonnet, I've got a turbocharged 1.4 litre petrol engine, which has 165 horsepower with 230 Newton meters of torque. It's good for 62 in 7.3 seconds, and it will continue to a top speed of 135 miles per hour.
You know what? Not many people would come all the way to Scotland to climb in a boot of a car and help you film.
I know, yeah.
Chris is such a not a geezer, he's such a lad, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pocket Rockets, I can see you clambering in the boot.
Yes, massive respect to both Chris and Becca for their support, although there was a bit of a downside in following their lovely Beamer. Road spray. So, just a quick update, I can't see anything, that sun is so bright, let me turn round. Right, there we are, that's better. So, we've stopped somewhere, just for a quick catch up, and just look at the car! Let me show you the car, it is absolutely filthy.
Look!
Really, really dirty. I've just had to quickly give the windscreen a wipe because even the windscreen wash couldn't get some of the grime off. I had quite a lot of grime building up here and it's starting to affect my field of vision. So yeah, we are somewhere, no idea where, but just look. It is absolutely glorious. But yes, the cars are very, very dirty. After examining the filth of the cars, it was time to hit the road once more, and my word, is Scotland pretty. Mind you, it was hard to see the beauty sometimes through all the stones flicking off the road and onto the car.
Yeah, I've done a little bit.
Got a lot of stones being flicked up. Now, this is what you call proper snow. It is beautiful. It's so picturesque, and we are in the middle of essentially nowhere, isn't it beautiful, darling?
It is. Do you know, like, it's not like, you can't even describe it. It's like a postcard. It's so picturesque.
Yeah,
it feels like we're driving through the centre of a postcard that someone has sent you from Scotland. Bearing in mind what today is for, it feels peaceful. It's put me at ease a little bit. It feels like, it's going to sound really cheesy. It feels like we're driving our way to heaven.
It's a little bit cheesy, but I'll let you off, given the circumstances.
You know what I mean, though? It feels,
yeah.
It's so peaceful and picturesque and quiet. It just feels like we're driving to somewhere special.
Darling,
No.
if you don't mind, and if you're up for it, tell the wonderful people at home or wherever they are watching a little bit about your dad.
About my dad?
Yeah.
He was he was the most understanding, kind of considerate, crazy, mad kind of person you'd ever meet. My dad was the kind of person that when you first meet him, you don't know what to make of him, because he was full of character, so you don't know whether to take him seriously or not.
Yeah, he had a very
Quirky, kind of unique sense of humour.
It was quite eccentric, I'd say.
And some people, I mean, this is a good question. When you first met him and he was kind of out there, what did you think that's just him, or did you think it was a little bit?
I just thought he was a bit odd, to be honest. He was a bit of a clown, wasn't he? But not in a bad way. He was, a bit of an entertainer.
Yeah, he didn't do things to embarrass people or do things like trickery or anything like that. It was more his impressions, but it was just his timing or however he used to do them. It was just an inappropriate time, which caused embarrassment, but in the end it was quite funny.
But yeah, I think he got a great joy out of making people laugh and making them smile. And I know it sounds like a very cliche sort of thing to say about someone who has passed, but he was full of life. He was larger than life, and I know
but he was until the last few days, wasn't he?
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. Like he was like the only time that, and this is, I'm going to say this, and people watching this may think, well, that's a bit not morbid, but that's a bit harsh to say. Up until the last few days, where, well, the only thing that stopped him joking about was the fact he, couldn't speak. He went like in an comatose state, didn't he?
Well, he simply didn't have the energy, did he?
Exactly. And that's the only thing that stopped him. Nothing else ever stopped him at all.
And I think that's one of the most heart-wrenching moments, is watching someone you love, just watching their life and soul kind of just trickle away. Right, okay, before things get really heavy and too deep, let's move things back to the 595, shall we? Now, one of the great things about the Turismo is that the specification is a little bit more geared towards comfort. So as standard, we get these very nice leather seats, which they are sat a little bit too high if I'm going to be pedantic. I agree. Yeah, it's quite an upright driving position. It almost feels like I'm driving an SUV. So I would want to have a lower driving position. But these seats are comfortable, and we had a long drive up yesterday, and it wasn't too uncomfortable, was it?
No, I'd say the last kind of hour and a half, my lower back did start to kind of ache and tighten a bit. But I think that was just from mainly sitting in the same position for numerous hours.
Exactly.
Yes, we got out and we stretched our legs and so forth, but as soon as you seated back in that same position, your back soon kind of goes back into its normal kind of posture and tightness.
Yeah. The infotainment system, it's got the Fiat Chrysler Automobiles Uconnect system, 7-inch touchscreen. It's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It's got navigation as well. I have to say, it's a very laggy system, and it does like to crash and kind of be a little bit sluggish.
Glitchy.
Yeah, it's not the greatest infotainment system, if I'm going to be honest, and I think that has been a factor in regards to the difficulties I've had today. But anyway, we shall continue. The infotainment system isn't the only annoyance though, as the door bins haven't got the greatest design, as I shall now demonstrate. They're in the door pocket, but I can't get to them.
Okay.
They've slid all the way to the end, where you can't get your hand in.
I can't even reach round. I can get them probably.
God, you need to be bloody double jointed. There we go. Can you take my woolly hat off for me, please? God, don't do it delicately. What are you doing?
Your hair, you had hat hair.
If I'm going to put my hat back on, so that's pointless.
Oh.
It's just very difficult to get my sunglasses on when my woolly hat's on.
It's woolly hat. Oh.
Yeah, this isn't at all distracting. It's not even on straight. What are you doing? You can't get the staff nowadays. So a fair amount has happened since we were last on camera. We've had problems with road closures. We've had to be rediverted. We've driven on some wonderful roads. The Abarth really came into its own. And it was kind of at that point I thought, yes, I bought the right car for the job. We are somewhere...
Starving.
No, we're somewhere near Perth. Perth as in Scotland, not Australia. We haven't got that lost. Imagine, yeah, we got a bit lost. We ended up in Australia somehow.
I don't think we'd have got there in that time frame.
Very true.
Unless this is a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang 595.
No. So far we've travelled... I can't believe we've only travelled 146 miles. It feels like we've gone like halfway around the earth.
It's because that one road was just continuous, so it felt forever, like never ending.
Yeah.
But we saw sheep.
Yes, we did.
Lots of sheep.
See sheep. We've been on the road for 3 hours 52. Apologies for the state of the windows. My driver's window is really, really dirty. Now, speaking of windows, since our last bit to camera, we have had a little bit of a mishap. So
the windscreen fell out.
No, it didn't fall out. Why are you saying things like that?
I don't know.
Why are you just lying? No, it does involve the windscreen. Basically, I believe it was the result of a rubbish lorry that passed me very quickly. He was going about 1,000,000 miles per hour. Okay, I may be exaggerating. He was doing 200 miles per hour. And as he came past me, a lot of dust and dirt off the road kicked up. And the result is I now have a crack in the windscreen. So, darling, if you'd like to show the ladies and gentlemen.
On here it shows up as a blue, kind of a blue line, but they can get the idea of it.
Yeah, it's. We'll give you a better look later, guys. But yeah, we do have a crack in the windscreen, so I have had to give Abarth.
Sorry.
Being manhandled by my own equipment. I have had to give Abarth UK a ring, and I'm waiting for them to give me a ring back. Thankfully, it's not affecting my field of vision. Apologies for the sunglasses. I don't really like to talk to you on camera wearing sunglasses, but it is a bit of a necessity because of the low winter sun. But yeah, it has been quite an eventful journey so far, and we haven't even left Scotland. But I'll tell you what, some of those roads, obviously you're not a great passenger, so you did get a little bit lightheaded, but
You can't blame the roads for that.
Oh, what? I was going to blame my driving. Apologies, guys.
I will blame your excitement and enthusiasm.
Yes, I did drive a little bit exuberantly. Right, so we have finally stopped at the services. We are back at Sterling Services where we were yesterday when we weren't filming. But just have a look at the state of the car. That, ladies and gentlemen, used to be podium blue. So I think it's about time we give it a good clean.
To make it a bit more legal.
Well,
Oh, look at that.
oh look, it's acting as a window again. There we are. Oh my god, that's so dirty.
Let me see the cloth.
That is manky. So come round here. Driver's window is equally as bad. Yes,
I'm saying, oh, this smells nice, but they can't smell it. What flavour is it? Does it say flavour?
It's not a flavour. There we are. It's looking much better. And yeah, show the guys the crack in the windscreen.
Ooh.
Careful.
I think it's got bigger.
Don't say that. There we are. It's as good as new. Look at that. It's.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, Aaron, but.
Well, at least the front isn't as dirty as it was earlier.
No, it's alright. Right,
But-
I think I need some food.
Yes. Well, you go until I get some food. I'm gonna have a bit of a rest. After giving the car a clean and having a bite to eat, it was time to wave goodbye to the legends that are Chris and Becca, and massive thanks for their support. They headed back to their home in Essex, meaning Patsy and I were now flying solo. Well, driving solo, I suppose. There wasn't much to report from there on in, as the route ahead of us was boring motorway mile after boring motorway mile. So, quick update, just stopped for what should be our last stop to get some more fuel and to stretch my legs. I've been on the road for, if I had to hazard a guess, 3.5, 4 hours. How many miles have I done? Let me quickly turn you guys around. That's my range. So I have covered so far 424 miles. So yeah, and as you can see, travel time 8. That's annoying. Not quite sure why that happened. So yeah, travel time 8 hours 50. Madness. And in regards to MPG, I've been getting 38.9, so not too bad. But what is bad is the crack in the windscreen, which perhaps you had the problem earlier of trying to focus on it. It is difficult to kind of focus on it, but yeah, I'm trying to get an angle where you can see it, which is very difficult. But it has got a fair bit bigger. So originally it kind of stopped kind of there. Now it stops there. Less than 100 miles to go, 97, come on, almost there. My celebration, as it turned out, was short-lived as the nav system crashed yet again, and when we restarted the route from where we were, it annoyingly added more time and distance on. However, after what felt like forever, we were back in London, although it was a part of London we weren't really expecting to be in. Hello guys, you join us back in the Abarth 595, well 595C if we're going to be pedantic. It is quite late now, it is 5 minutes past midnight.
It's So good morning.
Good morning. As you may be able to see from the other camera facing out of the windscreen, we are now in central London, more specifically Chelsea. Now, we weren't meant to come through central London. We have had a fair amount of problem with the sat-nav and it's rerouted us, and there's been times where it's just frozen and stopped working and we've had to restart the navigation. So yeah, it has been a bit of a stressful journey. We are almost at the end of it, thank God. And really, I just wanted to use this kind of last bit of our journey to kind of wrap up what the car has been like. Now, I don't think I mentioned it earlier. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I didn't. But this car doesn't have cruise control. So the only cruise control I've had is my right foot. And now we've been on the, well, door to door, we've been driving 12 hours 40 minutes, which sounds mental. Obviously we have had one or two breaks, but my right knee now is my right knee is almost fixed into one position, and it is quite twingy.
Just to clarify, you've been driving.
Roadworks reported on the road
You've been
ahead.
driving. So I want to make it clear, I actually haven't done anything apart from sit in this seat and provide Aaron with beverages and snacks. Aaron has done the full driving for this event.
Yeah, but that's only really because you can't legally drive because you've got an eye condition.
Of course, but don't give yourself some credit, because some people may not know that I can't drive.
But yeah, granted, I do feel a little bit weary, but I don't feel as tired as I thought I would, bearing in mind I've been up since 7 a.m. Well, 7 a.m. yesterday, because today's now Thursday. Craziness. Now, we weren't meant to get to the hospice this late, but just one of the it's just one of those things. That's life.
Loads of reduction in traffic speed,
We've had lots of average speed checks.
We have. I think that's added, I'd easily say a good hour or so, easily.
Yeah, exactly. So earlier we mentioned a crack in the windscreen up here. That has got bigger, although for the time being it hasn't got much bigger since our last stop. However, shortly after our last stop, we discovered, I discovered a crack on the left side of the windscreen, which we won't be able to show you now because it's too dark. And oh, well done. Is that a cabbie? Of course it's a cabbie. Yeah, there's a crack going from the left side. So
say what, 15 centimetres? 15 to 20?
Yeah, maybe about 15. It's quite a large crack, so this windscreen will need to be replaced. But anyway, we've kind of gone off topic really. So from a driving perspective, this car hasn't been as tiring as I thought it would be. Yes, the ride is firm and the seats aren't exactly the best driving position, but the seats are actually quite nice there. They are trimmed with leather, and they have been quite comfortable considering.
They have. I mean, there has been a point earlier where I was getting quite uncomfortable, my back became quite tight and uncomfortable, but it is settled down. I think you just need to, well, with any long journey, I think just make sure you move, make sure you just move in your seat a bit. But we have stopped enough just to get out and stretch our legs and kind of reset our body posture.
Yeah, what I will say, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, darling, is
excuse me,
the design of these. You okay? The design of these seats, the upper half, because it kind of curves away from you. You find that your shoulders and your neck don't really get the support that you'd want. So you kind of have to.
You slouch a bit.
You kind of have to sit like that to get. It's a bit. It just doesn't really.
It's not a natural seating position.
It's not really contoured to your body, I find.
I agree with that.
So.
Our little VW camper. Yep.
So yeah, that's one thing I would say. From a driver's perspective, you do get a footrest for your left foot, but it's only really useful if you've got dainty feet like a ballerina. It's a very
do not.
It's a very small footrest, so I find I don't use it. I have to leave my foot kind of perched on top of the clutch. Obviously not riding the clutch, I just have to makes, just rest it there gently. In regards to other, I'm going all croaky.
Do you want a drink?
No, I'm fine, thank you. In regards to other little niggles, when you've got the car in first, third, or fifth, the gear knob does obstruct some of the controls for the climate control, which I do find quite annoying. It is a little, it is very much a first world problem, but it is a little niggle. For example, if I want to hit the climate control off, the gear knob is right in my way, and you can't really do it without looking. Well, you can once you kind of get used to the kind of
where things are.
Kind of used to the ergonomics of the car, but yeah, it's just little things like that bother me. And the switches for the windows, I don't like where they are.
No, me neither. I mean, I'd much rather them, and there is space to just have them here on the armrest.
Yeah, I never.
That's the more natural position.
I never seem to be able to find them. Every time I go to do it, oh, where's the window? Oh. Yeah. So yeah, this car is flawed to a degree. However, I must, credit where credit's due. I've driven this to Scotland and back, and at no point have I felt the need to ring a chiropractor. So, you know what? This car has surprised me with its drivability. Now, would I choose to do this again? Well, probably not. But it's all for a good cause. And if you haven't donated, guys, please do. I know I've probably said it before, but even if it's only a small amount,
even if it's £5.95.
Exactly, it all counts. Anything is better than nothing. So please dig deep. I need to change lane, don't I?
Yes, you do.
The joys of driving through central London. But, darling, what's it been like as a passenger for this very extensive journey?
Honestly, it's really not been too bad. The only thing I have found is where I've been sat in the same seating position. It has caused me some discomfort just from where I've been sat in the same position so long. So I do find myself having to just kind of stretch my back or just wiggle a bit, or even straighten and bend my legs, because my legs are achy, quite achy now, the lower parts of my legs. But I find if I do just move my feet or reposition every half an hour or so, it's fine. I actually thought I'd be a lot more uncomfortable and actually be moaning.
Yeah.
By the time we got to the hotel yesterday. So I'm pleasantly surprised that it's better than what I anticipated it to be.
Yeah, and it's not been too bad on fuel either. This car has only got a fuel tank of 35 litres, but let's see, we filled it up in Elgin. I put a bit more fuel in that Sterling. Then I filled up somewhere near Doncaster, I think, and I've got just under half a tank left, so not too bad at all. And what's my range? 96 miles, so that's enough to get us home. Well, absolutely enough to get us to the hospice and then home, of course,
which is about an extra half an hour. So.
Yeah, so we'll be getting home about 1ish, give or take.
Will we be going straight to bed, or shall we be staying up?
Don't know. See how I feel when we get in.
Absolutely.
In regards to fuel economy, I've been getting at 39.8 mpg, so not too bad. Not that near the official figure, but the official figure is but based on the NEDC method, which is the outgoing method of testing. It's now WLTP, of course, which is far more accurate. I do have one more niggle. I'm not going to end things on a negative, but the infotainment system
Oh gosh.
is not great.
It's not responsive. It's quite.
It's laggy.
Glitchy. Yes, laggy, glitchy.
It's laggy, and sometimes it will just stop working. What's it? 20 or 30 down here. 30.
It's like when it does something for too long, it kind of just shuts off and needs a nap, needs a break.
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie. The infotainment system has caused us a bit of jip today. So yeah, it's not been ideal. The system itself, I like its presentation. I like its design.
The colours are quite good as well.
Yeah, it's not it's not the most high def display, but it's crisp enough for what you need it to be.
Yes.
But the actual usability of it, no, it does need to be improved. It's just been frustratingly slow at times. Just green screen. There we are, prime example. Obviously, you guys didn't see it, but the sat nav just
went into Hulk mode.
Just went all green. So we've lost the sat nav again. Despite another hiccup with the sat nav, we eventually made it to the hospice, and my word, did it feel good.
And that is
that's done.
Your face.
Right, so this is where I do have a bit of a confession. As you know, this has been branded 595 in a 595. Well, because of sat-nav problems, and there was a road closure up in Scotland due to the, I think it was because of the ice and snow, we had to be rerouted. So I haven't covered 595 miles. I'm so sorry, guys. I tried my best, but in the end it wasn't possible. What I have covered in regards to mileage is, so I've done 635.8. It's a shame that Abarth don't make a 635, but never mind. So yeah,
true.
There we are. We have covered 635 long miles. If you want to round it up, it's 636. So yeah. Anyway, time we go home, go to bed, and we shall kind of pick this up and wrap things up tomorrow later when it's light.
And I've woken up again.
Yeah. It was on this very spot a year ago. We came up after Trevor had passed, and it was surreal. It was a bittersweet moment because the birds were tweeting, and there was obviously a lot of sadness about what had happened, but also a lot of relief, wasn't there? So it was very bittersweet. We had the joy of the relief that Trevor's suffering was over, but also the sadness that he had gone. And it was a beautiful, crisp morning. There were blue tits singing in the trees just to my right. And it was a very surreal moment. It's like the world had stopped, but it hadn't. It felt like we were in a little time capsule. Our own little world had stopped, but everything around us just continued going. So, time to start wrapping up. And of course, let's start with the Abarth 595. Well, 595C Turismo to be more specific. This car has been a fun companion on this trip. It really came into its own in the Scottish Highlands, but it is also a flawed car as well. However, it hasn't been as bad at long distances as I thought it would be. So if you're looking to buy an Abarth 595, fear not, as a long distance journey won't ruin you, although I wouldn't recommend it on a regular basis. The Abarth though, despite being dirty, battered and a bit bruised, has held its own on this journey, and I take my hat off to it. It has been a truly wonderful adventure. We have driven on some wonderful roads in the Scottish Highlands, we have pummeled many motorway miles, and of course we have had to deal with that cracked windscreen. But let's not forget why we are here. We are here to raise some money for a wonderful cause, which is of course St. Christopher's Hospice. Now there's a good chance in life you will know someone with cancer, or you yourself may get cancer. Some people survive, sadly some don't, and that's why places like St. Christopher's Hospice are really important. Unfortunately, not everybody will survive cancer, but at least their last few days can be made more comfortable and people can die in peace. I know it's a very morbid thought to finish on, but hospices are really important. So please, guys, donate whatever you can. It's going to a great cause, and no matter how little it is, it can go a very long way. So I think that's me done. Before I finish this video, I would like to say a massive thank you for St Christopher's Hospice for their support, Abarth UK for supplying the car, to Motor Village in Croydon for assisting with my introduction video for this challenge, to Chris and Becca for their wonderful support, for Patsy for being an absolute rock throughout the journey, and of course for you guys watching this video. Thank you so much.